I can't wait anymore. Let's just go in, let's check it out. Alright guys, welcome to another episode of the Drift Games vlog. We are in Abu Dhabi on a very special mission today to see a very exclusive and special car collection. We'll talk about that in a second. Before I do, check out the brand new t-shirt of my PS13 that is now dropping very soon on our Drift Games merch shop. Limited quantities, so if you want it, don't miss it. I'm standing here beside Dan. Dan is our good buddy, our local contact in the old UAE when it comes to car culture, and bit of a legend in the game here for the last while.
Not sure about that.
With photography and running a lot of cool shows. So we're in a coffee shop that's not like any coffee shop I've seen. It's called Driven, DRVN. And as you guys can see, it's basically some cool cars in a coffee shop. So what's the story behind this place?
So I think this place started 3 years ago by a guy called Rashad, who we may or may not meet later on. I think this kind of came from, he was a pilot and he was flying for Emirates at the time. And I think he was kind of going around checking out really good coffee, checking out really good pizza around the world. And he's always had a passion for cars, and he was like, how can I bring cars, pizza and coffee together? And then it turned into this. These are all a part of his collection, or his family's collection, and they get rotated out, I think roughly every 8 weeks, but it depends. Recently they've had a thing with Porsche at the moment, so they've got a lot of Porsches in the Dubai branch.
And they've got a couple of different branches of coffee shops. Yes. So the idea is you come here, you have your food, your coffee, check out some really rare cars. But this is like the taster of what we're going to look at today. So he has a private collection.
Yes.
Hasn't been shot a lot on camera before. And it's in a very secret location that we can't say on camera. We're going to just show you when we get there. But thankfully, Rashad has said that we can go and check it out today, which we have no idea what to expect. You've seen it before.
I've seen it, yeah.
And it's pretty spectacular, apparently.
It's different, very different, and it's a smaller collection, but it's got some really cool stuff in it. And this is not actually there is a second bigger collection, but we're just going to go and check out this because it's super cool, like the vibe's cool as well, right?
Awesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump in the rental. We can't show you going there because it's a little bit top secret, but when we get there, we're going to show you everything that we come across and our reactions. And we got some of the boys from Ireland with us as well, so we're going to get their reactions who've never seen any of the crazy cars over here, which we're kind of a little numb to now after coming here so many times, but I'm sure you guys are going to enjoy it. So let's jump in the car and go check it out. Okay, so we are in our undisclosed location. This is Rashad. His family have the collection here. We have no idea what's behind the doors. We want to keep it as a surprise for us because Dan has told us there's some very cool stuff in here, and you're going to be able to explain it to us.
I'll try.
So this is a long-term passion, everything that's in here, right?
I guess it was an inherited passion. So it's my dad first, and then I kind of took the reins a few years ago and started adding a few pieces to the collection.
I can't wait anymore. Let's just go in, let's check it out. Let's talk through some of the cars. So this is obviously a very old Mercedes.
So this is the 600 Pullman. As you can see, it has the Desert 900 tires. So they are the original tires that came on the car, and they've kind of stuck on well. The reason why it has 900 tires was because when the car was delivered to the UAE, there was no roads. The car is unrestored, and for those who understand the classic car game, they understand that the unrestored ones are the more valuable ones.
Yes, this is exactly as it was.
Now the best thing about this car is, this is the car in the 60s, I'm not going to quote the date, but that's Queen Elizabeth.
So Queen Elizabeth was in this car?
Was in this car.
Back in this, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of history.
Special.
That's his friend, he's from the UK.
He's from the UK, so.
With the 600 Pullman, there are no electronics, and everything is hydraulic. The windows are hydraulic. The boot, so once I start the car, it pressurizes the system, and the car is prone to hydraulic leak. So when you open up the boot lid, it goes up really fast and it goes down really fast. So if you get your fingers caught, they're off.
It's hard not to just move on to this one.
This is like, for us, this is the 190 Cosworth.
I have the Pagani and I was literally, my jaw dropped at this.
So I think this car needs no explanation.
Cosworth, it's probably the most iconic. So this is the homologation version of the touring car from the DTM touring car days in the 80s. Very rare to have one and a road spec, and this one isn't even really DTM spec, still has splitters and everything on it. This thing is beautiful.
This is seriously cool.
That is.
So this is 1 of 500.
1 of 500.
1 of 500.
And we're close with the date in the 80s, but this is from 91.
It's a 91, so it's
91,
it's later on, yeah.
So this is car 427?
427 out of 500 ever made.
429.
429, wow.
Yeah, 429.
I just love, you know, nowadays car culture is all about the wide fenders, the
Yeah.
bolt-ons, and this had it back in 91 with the over fenders and making the car wider, the big wing, and this one is spotless. Like this, I presume this is very super low mileage.
Well, 66,000 kilometers, but
So it's been driven?
It's been driven, and I do drive it.
Yeah.
So like, I'll get out on the road, and I'll be cruising, but then you look down at the speedometer, and you're going 160 kilometers per hour.
Yeah.
Without
And
feeling
it's quick
it.
for 91, like it's nice. Fun to drive?
Oh, loads.
Yeah. And the next up is like, this is on another level. All right, guys, want to give a big thank you to one of our partners here at Drift Games, Strom Wheels. We run these DS25s on our street cars and on our drift cars, and they're absolutely awesome looking with an amazing concave, and they come in sort of a shadow chrome, white, and bronze. We have a selection of all of them on different cars, and they all look amazing. So head over to stromwheels.com and check them out now.
This is, yeah.
I've never seen one of these in the flesh before, and they're just as beautiful as I thought they would be.
So this is the Huayra BC Roadster. So 1 of 40, and they just finished number 40 last week. This is 10 of 40.
10 of 40.
10 of 40. They took in the V12 6-liter engine, and they tuned it up to 840 horsepower. Horatio Pagani is very proud about this car because it's the first time that they created a roadster that was lighter than the coupe.
Really?
It's 100 kilos lighter
Even with the removable roof?
with the removable roof.
And it's in the flat black kind of with the sparkle. It's the spec is unbelievable.
Oh, it does actually have a sparkle to the flat black. Are these all active aero at the back as well? What's going on here? There's a noise.
On the track, it has asymmetric flaps. So when you take the turn, it kind of digs in to the curve, and I don't want to. A lot of McLaren lovers are gonna not like this, but this car is faster on the track than the Senna.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's how you know it's very fast.
And the Senna's pretty fast, to be fair. But he's about to open the rear engine cover on this, and it's about to blow all of our minds because this is about a $5 million car. That's not an exaggeration.
Holy. Wow. I don't know why the first thing that strung to me is the sparkly coilovers.
Everything is aesthetically pleasing. This is the Monaco,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the chassis, right? And it's a patented material of carbon and titanium weave.
Oh wow.
That doesn't feel like carbon.
Not at all.
It feels like concrete.
I'm scared to film around this one.
This is like the same price as a full housing estate in Ireland. Just gonna put that
Right here.
right here. And you know what? Far nicer. Far less practical, but nicer.
I don't mean just get the other side there.
So you can pull out.
Oh, there it is. You did it.
Yeah, we have midfield.
There's still a lot of cars to go.
Cars to go. We're only but 3 in here now.
Look at all the exposed gear linkages.
I love that. That's beautiful.
What's that in the center console? It's like a mini version of the car. Is that the key?
No, it's like that's like a control system.
Is that the key there?
It is, yeah.
No way.
Take it out.
Can we take it out?
Yeah, of course.
As far as keys go,
Oh, it's heavy. It's up.
It is, yeah.
they do all the weight saving and the key's heavier than any key.
And just to make a point, so you might have seen us come to a lot of collections. this entire collection is driven all the time. So this was driven a few days ago. All the cars have mileage on them. They're all enjoyed.
I think he's going to do it. Is he going to do it? I think this is going to be the cold starts of all cold starts.
Adam, you can get a weekend or something there, I'd say.
He's going to rev it.
Possibly, I hope so.
That is all turbo sound.
All turbo, V12 turbo. Oh.
It's like Batman.
Fireworks finale.
There's a theme here of Mercedes through a lot of what you guys do, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of Mercedes. So this is a Mercedes engine. Yeah. So this is a much pretty Mercedes, but still Mercedes power. So you guys, what's your affiliation with Mercedes?
So we've been the distributor for Mercedes-Benz for 65 years.
Wow. So these are certain cars that were plucked out of that as time went on.
All of these cars did come from, well, I wouldn't say the cars from the 50s, but definitely the 722, the CLK DTM. This we took when we had the it wasn't a dealership, but we did the major service for these cars around the Middle East, and that's how we got.
I'm sure not an easy car to work on by any means.
It's not. And every time you do some work to it, like it literally goes down to the shell. So all these panels.
Everything comes off, it's stripped back to nothing again. So this is a 722, but I'm actually really interested in the DTM because I've never seen one of these before. So this is a very weird car.
I've never seen this.
I've never seen anything like this before. These
So
flares.
HWA Racing, the racing team that was owned by Mercedes and the ones that built the CLK GTR, there was a plan to take 200 CLKs. I can't remember the chassis code for this one, but they started in 2005 with 100 coupes, and then in 2006 they decided to make the Cabrio versions. So 2007 was the model year, and they got up to 78, but when the crisis hit, they figured that they may not be able to sell them all, so they stopped.
Oh, so how many were made in the end, you know?
78.
78, and this is...
In this, but the plaque still read 1 of 100.
Oh, I see what you mean. So they didn't actually even make it to 100.
They didn't complete.
What's crazy to me is that these wide body flares just, like this 2005, long before this was a thing.
So this has the closest engine to the SLR.
Really?
Yes.
So what engine is in this?
So again, it's the 5.5 liter supercharged engine, so it has the compressor, and it has 580 horsepower, and a lot of the engine management and traction management is out of the race car series. So when the car was taken out, everything was remade in carbon fiber.
Wow.
Oh wow. Yeah.
It's very neat, isn't it, with the superchargers sunk in.
You know what? That's like seriously cool arch set.
But like I was saying, it looks like something that nowadays everyone's putting like a wide
Yeah,
body
it
on
looks like
everything.
something you'd actually put on the car, but that was standard from Mercedes.
Yeah, and this was the race car DTM kit. Sounds good.
And the soft top as well, which you would never see.
He's basically just going to take the roof down. That's why he started, to let us see the interior.
Right there, Adam.
We end up in these stupid scenarios. I don't know how.
I don't know what to say or do. I mean, I see it really stupid on the camera, but you get so overwhelmed when it's all like whenever I see a cool car, seeing like 30 of them at the one time is very overwhelming, especially when you're like one of this and one of that.
I
It's
get
like,
a full walkthrough hands.
yeah, like a hand. You're not just going into a museum. Like the guy who owns all of these can explain every story about them, and they're all driven too. This interior is like
All full carbon all the way through it.
Oh wow. That's like a proper carbon fiber seat.
Bucket seats, carbon bucket seats in the back.
That's
I've never
ridiculous.
even heard of this car before.
Everything's carbon fiber.
Literally everything
Side panels,
is carbon fiber.
side panels, door cards, everything.
Carbon everywhere.
Well, let's keep moving on. As I said, it's like there's so much to get through. I'm almost like a kid
Be careful, Dave, of the mirrors.
So these are the
Go into the classic section.
into
now.
the classic section. This is where I get lost completely when it's the older cars. These are all SLs.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we did have like a line of SLs. So we had the 300 SL, the 190 SL, the 230, and the 280. There's not much to say about them. They're icons.
Yeah, just like
Very well kept,
Yeah.
restored condition.
I'm gonna have to turn around for a moment, and we've been kind of ignoring this for a while. This is the biggest car. Like for where we come from, you couldn't drive this. The streets are too small.
Too
for
narrow?
This. So this is the 4x4 squared, right?
Yeah, that's the 4x4 squared in matte black. So they said when I did place the order for the car that this was the 43rd car to be produced in matte black. So I don't think that they even peaked at 100 when making these cars.
I think the matte black is the right color. It just looks sweet. This
The
looks like
carbon
something Batman
fenders.
would take to go shopping at the
Yeah,
weekends.
and this did come out of the factory exactly as you see it, but I did paint the rear full bar side steps.
I murdered everything. Carbon fenders.
I think carbon fenders are the most badass things.
It's a big, big thing though.
Look at the size difference to you, Dave.
Like
you're,
that's-
you're about 6 foot.
Yeah.
The size of
All
it.
right. And then a bit of Americana, a bit of UK.
Yeah, so this is actually the first car I ever attempted to restore.
You picked one of the hardest.
I didn't know that at the time.
You went straight in at the deep end.
Yeah, so I just had graduated from uni, moved back from Boston, and I was like, you know what? I don't have a job. Let me restore a car because that's what seemed right at the time. Took it to the Mercedes service center. I know I shouldn't be saying this, but we started stripping it out, and we stripped it out completely to the metal in about, I'd say, 6 hours after feeding 200 people Pizza Hut. When I started ordering the parts and actually realizing how many parts go into this thing and how I didn't really remember or write down or what I took off.
Oh no.
So 7 years later, the car was still in bare metal.
Oh. So 6 hours to take it apart. 7 years later, it's still in bare metal.
Still in bare metal.
But it looks amazing now.
Until I sent it to the professionals at Z&P in Paris, and they did a fantastic job.
So a UK car comes to the UAE, stripped in the UAE, then to bare metal, then sent to Paris to be reassembled and back to the UAE.
35 years of ownership with us
Wow.
before I attempted to restore it. But yeah, I'm not a huge Corvette fan, but
You're a big Corvette guy.
pretty big Corvette.
But I like this particular. This is the start of everything for the Corvette. This is where it started. It doesn't look anything like this anymore. It's a totally different thing. But this was like the most iconic design I think from the US. This and the '66 Mustang maybe were like the two perfect examples of great design.
I'm a huge fan of the 63 and the 67, the 427.
There's some good and bad bits in between, but these are like the nicest ones. And this one is.
So this was a must. It's been restored to the exact spec, but what I did do to the car is I ended up putting a rack and pinion steering. I put in sound system and air conditioning, and then I don't know if you were at Driven this morning.
I was.
You see the engine down the
Yes.
yeah, in the compartment that came out of here, and this is a 500 horsepower 383 CI.
Okay. I definitely put rack and pinion steering if I had 500 horsepower. Too.
Yeah. A lot of fun, amazing to drive, and amazing sound.
They're just a beautiful car.
You can actually daily this if you'd like, if you wanted to.
And then we've got some pretty modern stuff.
Yeah, so that looks like a regular Challenger, but it's not. That's the Demon.
Demon.
Yeah.
That is the
Is that
Challenger.
the one above the Hellcat?
It's the one with the bolt-on drag race kit.
840 horsepower.
Is this the one that comes with the drag pack?
Yes.
Hang on a second, are they the standard rear tyres?
Yeah.
What?
But it also comes with standard.
As you see, the car is exactly.
But it also comes with space saver front wheels that you can put on it for the drag strip.
Yeah.
So it comes in a box, right,
Yeah.
of all the drag stuff to take off at the drag strip, and then it.
And it will do a quarter mile in 9.2 seconds.
From the factory. My God.
It was like at that point, all of the car manufacturers were going to eco-friendly, and Dodge just went, to the moon. Just go the other way completely. Now I'm going to try and do a Porsche guy for a minute, because I'm not a very good Porsche guy, but
Ex-Porsche guy.
this is a GT2 RS, but this is a
GT2.
They're both GT2 RS.
So this I've never seen before.
So
This one I've seen a few, but this
this is the 997. So
Yes.
this was made in 2010, and this was the first GT2 RS.
okay.
So-
I've never seen one of these before.
So I actually got this from the Porsche dealership in Amsterdam, and when it arrived, I was like, okay, now I really need to understand why this is the original Widowmaker.
Yes, that's what it's called, and I can see why.
And this is the scariest car I've ever driven, because it's a manual transmission, but as you're going through the gears, it just doesn't stop. It's 612 horsepower, but it just feels like
And rear engine.
rear engine and rear wheel.
Yeah, rear wheel, rear engine, manual, 612 horsepower, with a lot of the weight in the back.
It just goes.
It's crazy. And I suppose, so Josh here has a special favourite car of the whole collection.
I think I'm the only person that's owned something in this
He's actually
collection.
owned something that's in this collection.
The DSR.
And it's this. So he had one of these.
I did have one of these.
Yeah.
I'm guessing this is a special one.
This is definitely, but first of all, it's not crashed like your one, so it's much more clean. But they are a cool little car.
It is. It's really fast.
Really fast, you see that?
It is really fast. It's 180 horsepower in such a small thing. I don't know if it's really fast, but because
Feels fast.
it feels.
Well, when you're go-karting, you feel like you're going fast, right?
Yeah.
That's what this is like. Well, thank you so much for showing us around. It's been amazing to see such an amazing collection. And what I love about it is the knowledge and passion you have for all of this stuff. And I love the fact that it's so varied and some great stories behind everything. So hopefully in the future we get to come back and see everything on a shuffle, and we go to Driven and check out the cars there as we come back to the UAE over the next couple of weeks. Alright, so we left the car collection in Abu Dhabi. We just travelled down to Dubai, about an hour away, and we're going to do a podcast. So I'm looking forward to chatting with the guys here, see how it goes. It's in a real professional studio, a lot more professional than we're used to, so we're going to have a bit of fun.
And the Burges.
The Burj is there.
Rooting out your head.
Yeah, out of my head. Hello everyone. Hello. How's it going? Nice to meet you guys.
Dave, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Dave from Drift Games, also Emirates Drift Championship.
Fantastic way to end. I think that's it. Thank you very much.
Alright guys, so we're finished up an amazing day. We got to see a very, very cool collection. Thank you to Dan for giving us another tour, and thanks to all the guys for being so hospitable. The podcast comes out in what, about 2 weeks time?
So 2 weeks this Tuesday.
Okay, so it's behind the
Behind the
scene
scenes by car.
by car culture. Go check it out. I talked a lot of nonsense. It went on for a very long time. I wouldn't be one for talking, but this was an exception. So you guys will see us on the next episode. Hope you enjoyed it. We got a very special one coming up where we're going to take Dan's advice and get some of the best JDM cars around Dubai for a spin through the city at night. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you then.